Hi everyone. Today I'd like to deal with so far we've dealt with practical construction, we've dealt with silhouettes, um, direct lighting and indirect lighting, and enclosure. So I'd like to do a little bit of demonstration drawing, taking all those different techniques and putting them together. So the first thing is dealing with the silhouette. Now we want to deal with silhouettes as applies to figure drawing. Um, well, if I'm painting, let me do this silhouette here. You guys might not entirely understand what I'm doing. In fact, it's going to be very hard to tell just what I'm doing unless I use a smaller brush. Now, if I use a smaller brush, I'm going to do the same thing. So what I'm doing is I'm basically wireframing my silhouette out simply by using the ellipse tool. These ellipses. Remember this exercise where I would draw a donut? And I can take a donut and turn it around on an axis. Remember that exercise? This is essentially the same thing. I'm taking this donut and I'm turning it and I'm pushing it through space. But when you paint, you simply use a larger brush stroke. So, oops. Here it is. So I can make things come towards us, make it go flat, make it go away from us. That's how I deal with my silhouettes. Now, when it comes to the lighting stage, you fill in your silhouette. You can use white and do the same thing. You can light like this by using an ellipse. And you can light towards wherever you think there is indirect lighting and direct lighting. It's a very, very fast technique. Still means you have to be somewhat careful. It's actually kind of nerve-wracking. But it gets good, fast results. And for those of you who are working on a clock, getting paid, fast, effective results are good. So, look at that. I've already got my direct and my indirect lighting on this thing, plus a silhouette. And wow, I've just made a lump of poo. Now, when you want to apply this to gesture drawing, it's actually kind of difficult. I think one of the things I'd like to show you, one of the things that a lot of teachers, a lot of my past teachers and a lot of books always, whenever you're dealing with a gesture, they always talk about this thing called movement. And they throw this word in, movement, movement, movement. I'm sorry, there's no movement. Look, these are lines on a flat screen. Nothing's moving, right? Well, I'll show you my concept of movement, especially with gesture lines. If I start with a small line, and I've got my Wiimote control over here. This Wiimote is basically being used to change the frame. So I put a line down. I've got my light table on. The light table just ghosts like an onion skin. I'm going to use larger lines and larger lines, and I'm going to make those lines go further away, and then make them come, make them come closer. Make them come really close. Okay, and now to curl it back away again. Okay, now I turn off the light table. Now I'm going to flip this, watch this. See that? Feel how the line gets closer and gets further away depending on its length. I can make the line come towards you, or I can make it go away, make it come back. So this is what I believe that motion in lines is all about. It's about being able to make lines move through space depending on their thickness. But when you just see all the lines together, it doesn't really look like much. It just looks like a lot of scribbling, doesn't it? Anyway, let me clear all these. But when you're drawing a gesture line, that's what you have to think about. You have to think about lines that come closer and move away. So for the head, for instance, I might start with a long line and then use progressively shorter lines as they go further away. We deal with the torso. And I'm going to combine this technique of using lines that come towards and move away, and I'm also going to combine it with my ellipse scribbling. So this is the cross-section scribbling. So some of my lines are going to go with the flow of the limbs. Some of these are going to be cross-sectioned. So this is the way that I like to deal with my gestures. And when it's time to paint, you can go over these lines simply using a larger brush. I can there's our torso. And then going over like that. And then once those silhouette is more or less filled, I can grab the white, do the same thing. I'm using an ellipse cross-sectional fill, and I'll be using my paint towards technique to deal with the direct lighting to see how the surface is turning towards the light. Dealing with cast shadows, so the head's going to cast a shadow on the arm to a certain degree. The arm as well is going to deal with a bit of direct lighting. You're going to get some roll off. And let's see, I'm going to go back into the gesture lines again because I want to reposition one of the arms. But yeah, let's put the other hand down there, figure out where that elbow is. Oops, I want to be back with black. And now I'm just cutting and working into the silhouette. So now I can go and I can deal with direct lighting again. There's some more direct lighting up here. And trim away that. And then I can go and I can throw in my indirect. So go and indirectly light these things. That's directly lit. This leg is completely in shadow, but it's going to be catching some indirect lighting from underneath. There's some more indirect lighting over here. That's going to be black. So, more indirect lighting over here. Let's get those hands to. So, lumps in space, simply handling direct and indirect lighting on them. Let's do another one.